Good morning! Whether you're heading out the door or just waking up, chances are you've checked the weather. But have you ever wondered what really drives those forecasts? Or why meteorologists sometimes talk about things happening thousands of miles away in the Pacific Ocean? Let's talk about the weather, and dive into something you might have heard about on the news or in weather reports: the mysterious La Niña watch. So, what exactly is a La Niña watch? And why does it matter to you, even if you live far from the ocean? The Climate Prediction Center, a group of expert scientists who study global weather patterns, issues a La Niña watch when they see early signs that La Niña could develop within the next 6 months. This means they're spotting clues, like changes in ocean temperatures and wind patterns, that suggest La Niña might be on the way. It's not a guarantee that La Niña will happen, but it's a strong signal to start paying close attention to what's going on in the Pacific Ocean, because that's where the story begins. Why does this matter? Because the Pacific Ocean is like the engine room for the planet's weather. What happens there can ripple out and affect weather patterns all over the globe, from heavy rains to droughts, heat waves to cold snaps. La Niña is the cool phase of a larger climate pattern called the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short. During La Niña, the surface waters of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean become cooler than average, which sets off a chain reaction in the atmosphere. When those Pacific waters cool, it changes the way air moves high above the Earth, shifting the jet stream, the fast-moving river of air that steers storms and weather systems. This can mean wetter weather in some places, drier conditions in others, and even more hurricanes in certain regions. Think of a La Niña watch like your favorite sports team making it to the playoffs. There's no championship yet, but the stakes are high and everyone's watching closely. Scientists monitor sea surface temperatures, wind patterns, and atmospheric pressure for early signs that La Niña is forming. They use high-tech tools like ocean buoys, satellites, and research ships to collect data from the heart of the Pacific, searching for those subtle shifts that could signal big changes ahead. This early warning system is crucial for everyone, from farmers who rely on rainfall for their crops, to city planners who need to prepare for possible floods, droughts, or other weather extremes that could impact communities. A La Niña watch isn't just about next week's forecast. It's a tool for looking ahead to the entire season, helping people and businesses make smarter decisions months in advance. We're here to break down what this means for you, so you'll know what to expect and how to stay prepared, no matter where you live. Stay tuned as we explore what a La Niña watch could mean for your weather, your plans, and your community in the months ahead. Right now, the Pacific Ocean is in what scientists call ENSO neutral, a kind of holding pattern between the more dramatic phases of El Niño and La Niña. This is a time when the ocean isn't sending strong signals in either direction, and the atmosphere above it is relatively calm. In other words, we're not experiencing the warming influence of El Niño, nor the cooling effects of La Niña. Instead, we're in a kind of meteorological middle ground. Ocean temperatures across the central and eastern Pacific are hovering close to their long-term averages. Without a strong push from the ocean, the weather patterns we see are less predictable and can swing in different directions. This neutral state opens the door for other, sometimes chaotic climate patterns to take the stage. Local weather systems, atmospheric waves, and even distant events can have a bigger impact than usual. That's why you might notice one week is cool and rainy, while the next brings unexpected heat and dryness. For meteorologists, forecasting during neutral periods is a real challenge because there's no dominant ENSO phase to guide the outlook. Neutral periods aren't rare. They can last for several months, sometimes even longer. Think of them as a reset button for the ocean and atmosphere, a time when the system is rebalancing itself before the next big shift. During these times, scientists are especially vigilant. They monitor ocean temperatures, wind patterns, and atmospheric pressure, searching for the earliest hints of change. Even subtle shifts, like a slight warming of the water or a change in trade winds, can be the first signs that the Pacific is preparing to tip toward La Niña or El Niño. As of late August, we're still firmly in neutral territory, but computer models and climate simulations are starting to pick up on subtle changes hinting that a transition could be on the way. This period of calm is often the quiet before the storm, a time when the Pacific gathers energy for its next act. Now is the perfect moment to pay attention and get informed because the Pacific is starting to stir, and change could come quickly. As we move from summer into autumn and winter, our weather could shift dramatically, influenced by whatever new phase emerges. So stay alert. Change is likely on the horizon, and the next chapter in the Pacific story is about to unfold. As summer slowly gives way to autumn, let's take a closer look at what the coming months might hold. Meteorologists and climate scientists are now closely watching the Pacific, where models are increasingly pointing toward the development of La Niña for both autumn and early winter. This shift in the global climate pattern could have far-reaching effects, not just for weather enthusiasts, but for everyone planning ahead for the changing seasons. The latest forecast from the Climate Prediction Center shows a steady rise in the odds for La Niña, with probabilities climbing higher each week. In fact, there's a growing consensus that La Niña could arrive as soon as September and potentially persist through November, setting the stage for a very different weather pattern compared to what we've seen in recent years. That's why the La Niña watch is now officially in effect. This alert means that conditions are favorable for La Niña to develop, and forecasters are keeping a close eye on the evolving situation. By the time we reach late autumn, the probability of La Niña forming climbs above 60%, a strong signal that's hard for forecasters to ignore. This increase in likelihood is a key indicator that significant changes could be on the horizon for our weather patterns. So, what's driving this potential shift? It all starts in the Pacific Ocean, where cooler than average water is steadily moving eastward beneath the surface. At the same time, the trade winds are strengthening, helping to reinforce these cooler conditions and setting the stage for La Niña to take hold. These are classic textbook signs that La Niña is beginning to form. Meteorologists look for these very indicators: cooler waters, stronger trade winds, and shifting atmospheric patterns to confirm that a transition is underway. The transition from neutral conditions to La Niña is already in motion. As the atmosphere and ocean continue to interact, we're seeing more evidence that La Niña is likely to become the dominant pattern, influencing everything from rainfall to temperature across the globe. Timing is everything. A rapid shift to La Niña could have a direct impact on the end of hurricane season, potentially altering storm tracks and intensities. And if La Niña is firmly in place by winter, it will play a major role in shaping our weather from December through February, affecting everything from snowfall to drought risk. Our team of meteorologists will be tracking this evolving forecast every step of the way, analyzing new data as it comes in, and updating you on what to expect. We're committed to keeping you informed as the situation develops. With the odds shifting in favor of La Niña, now is the perfect time to start thinking about what a La Niña winter could mean for you and your community. From changes in precipitation to colder or milder temperatures, the impacts can be wide-ranging. Preparation starts now. We'll be here to break down the potential impacts, offer tips for getting ready, and help you stay ahead of whatever this season may bring. Make sure your emergency kits are stocked and your plans are up to date. As we look ahead, stay tuned for more updates and insights. The next few months promise to be dynamic. Let's see together what's in store. So what does a La Niña winter mean for U.S. temperatures? Typically, the north gets colder than average air as the jet stream dips, bringing more Arctic blasts. Expect more cold snaps in the northern plains, Midwest, and New England. Get those heavy coats ready. The south, meanwhile, often sees milder, drier conditions with the storm track shifted north. That can mean lower heating bills, but also increased drought and wildfire risk. La Niña creates a tale of two winters: cold in the north, warm in the south, and wild swings in the middle. Knowing these patterns helps you plan ahead. It's about being prepared for what's most likely. Let's look at how La Niña shapes precipitation next. La Niña doesn't just affect temperatures, it steers where rain and snow fall. The Pacific jet stream targets the northwest, bringing wetter winters to Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Ski resorts and reservoirs benefit, but too much rain can mean flooding and landslides, especially after wildfires. The stormy pattern often extends into the Ohio Valley, bringing more rain and snow to states like Kentucky and Ohio. This region becomes a battleground for moisture and cold, leading to dynamic winter weather. Meanwhile, the south misses out. Drier than average conditions are common. La Niña splits the country, wet in the north, dry in the south. This pattern matters for agriculture, water management, and your winter plans. Get the snowblower ready up north, or start conserving water down south. Next, let's focus on the South's dry outlook. Here's what to expect. In the South, La Niña winters bring warmer, drier weather. High pressure blocks storms, keeping things calm and mild. But that's not always good news. The Southwest's drought can worsen, reservoirs drop, and wildfire risk rises. Even the Southeast can see flash droughts and stressed crops. Less rain means trouble for farmers and water supplies. Mild weather is nice, but the dryness is a real concern. For the South, La Niña is a signal to conserve water and watch fire danger. Stay prepared for a dry season. La Niña also impacts hurricane season. It reduces wind shear over the Atlantic, making it easier for storms to form and strengthen. That means more named storms and hurricanes, especially if La Niña develops this autumn. The season's peak is September, but storms can form into November. La Niña keeps the door open for late-season hurricanes. More storms mean higher odds of landfall, even if La Niña doesn't steer them directly. For coastal residents, a La Niña watch is a heads-up to stay vigilant. Hurricane season runs through November. Don't let your guard down. We'll keep you updated as conditions evolve. Preparation is key. Remember, a La Niña watch is about probabilities, not promises. Forecasts are based on odds, not certainties. Weather is complex with many moving parts. ENSO is a big driver, but other patterns can override or modify its effects. When we say a 60% chance of La Niña, there's still a chance it won't happen or will be weak. A wet forecast for the Northwest doesn't mean rain every day, just above average totals for the season. No two La Niña events are identical. Strength and location matter. That's why we update forecasts as new data comes in. Use this info as a guide, not gospel. Stay flexible and informed as the season unfolds. The outlook will sharpen as we get closer to winter. Awareness is your best tool. Let's wrap up with why this matters for you. So why does all this matter? Because staying informed helps you prepare. La Niña Watch is an early alert. Forecasts update monthly and we'll keep you posted. Knowing seasonal trends helps you make smart choices for your home, family, and business. Weather affects everything. Winterize your home in the north, conserve water in the south, plan crops, or adjust business operations. Being proactive saves time, money, and stress. Updates are easy to find on TV, online, or through weather apps. NOAA and the Climate Prediction Center are great resources. Check the forecast for the season ahead, not just tomorrow. Understanding the big picture puts daily weather in context. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you can prepare. We'll keep tracking and sharing the latest. Stay tuned, stay safe, and be ready for whatever comes your way.